If you're an ADHD business owner and you have 100 things on your plate and you don't know what to focus on, keep watching. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how I used to look at a to-do list and just be paralyzed. I remember the paralyzing, just the moment of just freezing and not knowing what to do. Decision fatigue, overthinking, perfectionism, right? All these things were running the show when I was looking at that to-do list. I went from that to knowing exactly what to focus on and making progress on every project that I work on. This system also allowed me to make my first 10K month as an online coach. Let's get into it. So the problem isn't that you don't know what to do, it's just that everything seems equally as urgent. Right now, you've probably got a massive list of stuff, right? Client work, marketing, content creation, admin, taxes. Your partner, you said he's going to do something yesterday, so now you got to do it today. All of this stuff feels super urgent and it feels like they all need to be done right now. That's what your brain's doing. Your ADHD brain is screaming to get all of it done now. So what you do is you start task switching. You go from one thing to another. Like, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of that, then a bit of that. And you start doing 10, 20 things in 1 hour. And at the end of the day, you're just exhausted and you feel like you've not accomplished anything. You can't even remember what you did. And because everything feels urgent, nothing gets prioritized. So you react to whatever's screaming the loudest. Client email comes through, you check it. You get a notification on your WhatsApp, you check it. Then you remember that there's something that you're supposed to do last week. So you try to get out of the way now, and then you put that in front of the thing that you said you was going to do right now. So now you pull it off again. You end up busy all day, and you've not actually accomplished anything or finished anything for that day. The second thing is that you can only actually focus on one thing at a time. And we seem to want to multitask so much because we see neurotypical doing that, right? And in office environments, that's what they're doing as well. They're multitasking. They're telling you to do 100 different things at once, bounce from one thing to another. But for an ADHD brain, it's really important that we just focus on one thing at a time, because then we get to use our hyperfocus in that moment to use as a superpower to finish that one thing, get it out the way, and then move on to the next thing. And truthfully, it's not just an ADHD thing, it's just how brains work. But most ADHDers, what we do is we keep all of the stuff inside of our head. We've got 20 things running the show in our head, and we're trying to keep that all inside of our head, and we wonder why we're scattered and we don't get anything done. And there's a simple fix for this, man. It's just focus on one thing at a time. Just do one. Start it, then finish it, then move on to the next thing. Not, oh yeah, I'll just do a little bit of this, and then yeah, a little bit of this, and no. That's where your problem lies. Task switching, don't do it. And the thing is, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, but I've got clients to respond to. I've got to respond to that message. It's urgent. And I've got to put out these fires, you know? But I'm not saying to ignore the emergencies. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that when you sit down to do a focus session, focus on one thing in that session. Just the one thing only. That means no 15 tabs open. Oh yeah, just do that later. No, close them all down. Just have one tab. Just focus on that one tab. Maybe there's two things that coincide together for the whole task of doing the thing. Maybe you need to split your screen. Cool. But don't have something that you're not doing right now just there, like just open, when you know you're not going to do anything with it. The third thing is that it's not always the most important thing is the one thing that you should be focusing on. Sometimes it's the thing that's blocking you from doing all the other things that you're supposed to be doing, which I call bottlenecks. This is where people get it wrong. They look at their list and they try to pick the most important thing. But sometimes the most important thing on your list is just stuck because there's something else you should be doing before you do that thing. Like maybe you need to launch an offer. You've got this new offer. That's important, right? But you can't finish it until you do the sales page though. So the sales page becomes the one thing versus the new offer launch. Maybe you've got client work to do. All these unread emails, thousands of unread emails, and you're just worried about if you've not got back to someone, and it's making you anxious every time you think about it. So you can't focus on client work because you're just thinking about all those unread emails. Both seem extremely urgent, but you just have to see which one has to get done immediately because there's an urgency of like, this is going to happen in 1 hour. If that client work is going to happen in 1 hour where you need to deliver something in an hour, and you're not going to be able to do all those emails in the hour, There's no point you doing the emails. But at the same time, if the client work is for tomorrow and those emails are unread, and you know that if you don't read them now, they're going to pile up until tomorrow, then obviously the emails will be more important. Just get them out of the way so that they're to inbox zero. Then of course now you can be comfortable and focus on that client work that's ready for tomorrow. All you're trying to do is just figure out what's blocking you from making progress. Do that one thing first, and then everything else becomes easier. The fourth thing is just deleting the junk. Most of the stuff on your list doesn't even need to get done. You're just putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Delete it. I've reframed what I see a to-do list as. Instead of it being a to-do list, I call it a desire inbox. And that desire inbox, I look at it and I say, yeah, these are things I desire to have completed, but which one is giving me the most friction right now to do? I should be doing that one first. And the thing is, I have the triple D method that I use for this, which is I'm either going to do the thing, right? If it needs to be done, I'll do it as soon as possible. If it's something that just needs to get done, or I'm going to delegate the task to someone else to do, or I'm going to delegate it elsewhere. Like maybe it can be archived, or maybe it could be, pushed for tomorrow, for example, right? Because it's something that doesn't have to happen right now, or I'm going to delete it. If it really, really isn't that much of a big deal, just look carefully at, is this really something that's urgent for me to do right now? Is it really a big deal if I don't do this? Is it really the end of the world if I don't do this thing? And then that's how I go through my process of what I should do and what I shouldn't do. A lot of the time, a lot of the things on your list is just because you keep saying yes to things. Like you said, yeah, sure. You thought that, yeah, I could do that, no problem. And then you maybe forgot, and then it got dragged out to the next day, and then you've said yes to so many things, and you feel obliged to do all of them, instead of just communicating that actually, I've got this thing on my plate that I forgot to tell you that I'm actually doing this instead, because this is more important. There's urgency attached to this thing. Do you mind if I push it to next week? Like, you can make communication with people around just switching things around. Like, if it's something that is not as urgent as you think it is, you only think it's urgent because you told someone who's going to do it in a specific time. But you have to remember that we're time blind. So a lot of the time, we're not anticipating or estimating time well enough to be able to know what we can take on. So sometimes we need to communicate to people that, oh, sorry, I've got this thing that's come up. Do you mind if I push it until this time? Just communicate with them, or just say, no, actually, I know I said I could do this for you now, but actually I've just realized that I ain't got the capacity to do that. Sorry about that. Just think through sometimes. Just think if you are actually able to commit to something. Look at your diary. Check. Instead of saying yeah immediately to things, just kind of check. Is there room for me to actually do that? Let me just check my calendar. Do you even have one? Many of this stuff all comes down to just taking up mental real estate that you could be using to push things in the right direction, the things that you want to actually make progress on, that really matter, the things that are really going to impact your business, that are going to really impact your purpose, your driven, like your the real core important things that you need to do in your life, right? The non-negotiables, right? The projects that you want to work on. Sometimes you're just taking up mental real estate because you've said yes to 100 different things, and you've just not communicated that actually I can't do it. And the last thing is that your business grows not just when you start the things, it's when you finish things, right? That's when you're going to scale your business, is when you finish what you said you was going to do. It could be all nice just getting all this equipment, starting with getting all these things that you think you need. But in the end, it's when you finish what you're supposed to do is when you take things to the next level. We get excited about these new ideas. We love it. We love the visualization of like what something could be like. We love it. But we need to lean into the things, and we need to see it through to the end. And we need to stop listening to this limiting belief that we might have around what's possible around that thing, because we're talking ourselves out of something, because we're not sure what the outcome could look like. Maybe there's details that we're not sure about, so we now want to pull it off because, or without experiencing that thing. Well, gain the experience by finishing and getting data. When you get data on something that you've started, then you know how to deal with it the next time round. So maybe your first video is you and ahhing. The next time round, maybe you're just going to take out the cuts. Maybe next time round, you're going to do a script where you say the thing 10 times before you actually make sure that that's the right clip that you're going to do, versus just trying to freestyle the whole thing. You need to go through the mileage of learning what works by making mistakes, by learning, by doing things, seeing them through, no matter how uncomfortable they are. So the thing is, you can start 10 projects this week if you want, but if you don't finish any of them, you're not going to make any progress. It doesn't make any difference. You're just better off just saying, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to see it through, and then I'm going to do the next one, then see it through. And it becomes a more productive journey. It becomes a more successful and progressive journey when you do it that way, because all of them will get done versus all of them getting a little bit of your time and being incomplete, and you feeling like it's not good enough, or you feeling like a week's gone and you haven't made any progress on anything, and you giving up because you've not put enough time into one of the things. Focus on one thing and see it through.